All right, let's talk about something that can absolutely poison a team's culture: gossip. Today, we're going to tackle this head on. We'll explore where it comes from, the real damage it causes, and most importantly, I'm going to give you a practical guide to build a culture of trust and high performance instead. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to shine a light on the real problem with gossip and trace its destructive path. Then, we'll shift to the solution. I'll introduce you to a really powerful framework that balances psychological safety with high accountability. And we'll wrap it all up with a communication playbook that you can start using with your team like today. Okay, so let's get right to the root of the issue. To really solve the gossip problem, we have to understand what it actually is. And trust me, it is so much more than just idle chatter. It's a specific kind of behavior with some pretty serious consequences. I mean, you've seen it, right? We all have. But have you ever stopped to think about the true cost? Because it goes way beyond just hurt feelings. This stuff directly impacts your team's morale, their productivity, and yeah, even your organization's bottom line. So let's be super clear about what we mean by gossip. We're talking about this informal chatter, the stuff that happens behind someone's back. It's often filled with rumors, personal opinions, or just plain speculation. This is not harmless water cooler talk. It's a behavior that can quickly escalate and create a really toxic environment for everyone. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Because gossip, especially when it comes from a leader, from you, it kicks off this totally predictable and destructive chain reaction. The research on this is crystal clear. When a supervisor gossips, it immediately starts to eat away at the quality of their relationship with their team. It's a dynamic called the leader-member exchange, or LMX. Just think of it as the foundation of trust and respect between you and your direct reports. Gossip is like a jackhammer to that foundation. And once that foundation is cracked, the whole dynamic just shifts. Team members stop seeing their leader as a trusted partner. Instead, they start to feel ignored, left out of the loop, excluded. This breakdown of trust is the critical link that turns what seems like simple gossip into something way, way more damaging. And here it is, the end result. Your employees begin to feel intentionally shut out by the one person who should be their biggest advocate. This feeling has a name: perceived supervisor ostracism. It is a powerful, destructive experience that absolutely crushes engagement and motivation. And it's the direct result of that initial gossip. Okay, so we've seen the damage. Now how do we fix it? To fight back against gossip and ostracism, we need a new way of thinking about our team culture. And this framework for peak performance is built on two key ingredients. And those two ingredients are psychological safety and accountability. Now, a lot of leaders see these as a trade-off, right? That you have to be soft on standards to create safety. But the truth is, they're two sides of the very same coin. You absolutely cannot have true excellence without both. This grid shows the dynamic perfectly. Your team can fall into one of four zones. If you have low safety and low accountability, you get the apathy zone. High safety but no accountability? That's the comfort zone, where not much really gets done. The sweet spot, the goal, is that top right corner. But first, let's talk about the most dangerous place to be. And this is the anxiety zone. This is where you have high expectations, but zero psychological safety. This environment is a breeding ground for gossip, blame, and fear. Your team is in a constant state of fight or flight. They hide their mistakes, and innovation just dies. Sound familiar? This is where so many toxic cultures live. So, how do we get out of that anxiety zone? How do we build the foundation of trust we need to move our team into that high-performance sweet spot? Well, it all starts with you. The leader has to be the one to intentionally build psychological safety. And this isn't some abstract concept. We're talking about concrete actions. Start by modeling vulnerability. Admit when you screw up. Moderate your own power. Make it clear you don't have all the answers. Actively create ways for people to give open, honest feedback. And when mistakes happen, you frame them as learning opportunities, not reasons to point fingers. Every single one of these actions starves gossip of the fear it feeds on. Now, once you have that foundation of safety firmly in place, then you can start layering on that second crucial ingredient. This is where you drive real accountability, not through fear, but as the engine that powers excellence. And the benefits here are just huge. When accountability is built on a bed of trust, you get less blame and more openness. You get better outcomes, clearer roles, and a real capacity for positive change. The goal isn't to punish people, it's to build a system so clear and fair that gossip and backdoor channels just become irrelevant. So how do you do it? Well, as Brené Brown says, clarity is kindness, and it's also the enemy of rumors. Start by setting crystal clear expectations with things like SMART goals. Do frequent check-ins to provide support, not to micromanage. Empower your team with real autonomy, and make sure they have the resources to actually succeed. When people know where they stand, there's just no void for speculation to fill. Okay, let's bring all of this together. Building this kind of culture requires a deliberate communication strategy. This is your playbook for starving gossip of oxygen and replacing all those rumors with reality. Every conversation you have contributes to one of these two cultures. The culture of blame, that's full of criticism and finger-pointing. The culture of learning, on the other hand, is all about feedback, support, and a genuine desire to understand and improve. As the leader, your communication style is the switch that determines which culture your team gets to live in. So here's your game plan. When you hear a rumor, you address it head on with transparency. You become the source of truth for organizational changes. You create an environment where people feel safe raising concerns directly with you. And crucially, you use specific, authentic recognition to reinforce positive behaviors. This is how you actively starve gossip of the information vacuum it needs to survive. Ultimately, it all comes down to this. This isn't about choosing between being a nice boss or a demanding one. It's about understanding that psychological safety and respectful accountability are the two cylinders of the engine that drives high-performing teams. You need both to move beyond the workplace drama and achieve real sustainable results. So I'll leave you with a challenge. Use this framework as a diagnostic tool right now. Where's your team today? Are they in the anxiety zone, the comfort zone? And more importantly, what is the one single step you are going to take this week to start moving them toward that top right corner?